What's good, everybody? It's your girl, Queen Charlene, purveyor, and, how could you say, I guess you could say I run this joint around here. Iron Fists Olympia. You've probably seen us on the Mondays, which is when we do our usual streams. And now we're running straight into 2020. And I guess I just wanted to give you guys like a quick little, I don't know if you call it like an update or like a review overview of the last like year or two of this community existing. This is like gonna be some no editing, just off the cuff, straight out the brain, no script or anything like that. But yeah, here we are. It's the year 2020. Iron Fists Olympia is still going strong. If you don't know who we are the Southern Washington Tekken community of the Olympia, Lacey, and Tumwater area. And this group was formed by me, I would say, about a year ago officially. I remember this is actually like a little bit of history if you've never been around here or anything like that. But around the first time that Tekken 7 came out on platform, on like all the normal platforms like PC, PS4, Xbox One, ever since then there's been a huge Tekken boom. Lots of people have been playing. I'm like a legacy player. I've been playing since Tekken 2 a long ass time ago. But I wouldn't say that I was playing at any sort of competitive level or anything like that until Tekken 7 came out. It was around Tekken 7 that I decided that I was going to take the game a little bit more seriously. That was also around the time that I ran into the Seattle Tekken folks. They showed me that I was indeed very bad at the game, so shoutouts to them for exposing me, because it was probably one of the main motivators for me in terms of, like, getting more into the Tekken community, because they were all really nice, they were super informative, and of course they're really good at the game. So it was really good to have that kind of exposure to high-level play, especially when I was like just starting out as like a snake-edging scrub for the most part. But then like at a certain point, living in Olympia, which is like about an hour or two away from Seattle, it's not exactly the most convenient locals of all time. I know it's like, NorCal and SoCal, they'll have people that are driving like 3 to 4 hours for their locals. I don't drive, I take the bus. So that's like a little bit of a money sink for me, and it usually means I have to find a place to stay that day if I want to go play casuals and stuff like that. It was just a huge pain, and it was a big time sink. It was a big money sink as well, and at a certain point I just wasn't able to sustain it. But I still really wanted to play this game. I was really, really wanting to play more Tekken. And so of course, like most people who want to play lots of Tekken but don't have a local scene, I spent most of my time online and getting to know online communities and online people. I actually spent probably my first 9 months or so of my Tekken career mostly online, and mostly on Xbox One actually, because that's basically where I found all my training partners and stuff like that before I started playing with more people in Seattle. So I got a lot of my leveling up done that way, but of course, online isn't perfect, and in a lot of ways it's not really the most optimal strategy for leveling up. I still think it's useful, and I still think that there's a lot of reasons to play online, but that's not what this whole thing is about right now. So anyways, like I was saying, once I started like getting trained up a little bit, I could feel that I was at like a comfortable low to mid level of play, to the point where I was able to at least get rounds off of like higher level players, which felt very satisfying. And then I remember, like, once I stopped going to Seattle locals and all that stuff, I was really, I was at a crossroads, because I was playing so much online, but I really wanted an offline scene that I could also call my own. And then, eventually, I don't even remember how I found out about this. I think someone in Seattle Tekken actually may have led me onto this, but I didn't know until, like a couple months into Tekken 7, that there was like an offline FGC here in Olympia, right? So me, being the person that I am, was like, I'm immediately gonna go there. They're probably not gonna have Tekken, because this was like before people were actually playing the game. They're probably not gonna have Tekken. I'm probably gonna look like, the weirdo trans girl who completely sticks out like a sore thumb, who doesn't know anybody, and I'm probably gonna go O2. Luckily for me, none of that stuff happened. There indeed was Tekken. There was about 6 or 7 entrants, not including myself. And it was mostly comprised of like, you know, Kevin and Chad, you know, the people that you've seen on this YouTube channel. And this is like before they were like actually practicing and stuff like that. Chad doesn't practice it anymore. But it was like, you know, a lot of the people who you still see today were like practicing the game. They weren't very good. They were like still trying to figure stuff out. And then me with my like mid-level Brian just like completely runs in, smacks everyone up. Everyone's like, oh my god, you're so good at the game. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I hella suck. But it's cool that there's a scene here, and I really want to support this sort of thing. So I started going to those. They happen at a place called GameStar. Unfortunately, I didn't know this, but that tournament that I went to and the 1 or 2 tournaments after that were going to end up being the last tournaments that happened at GameStar, because the place ended up shutting down for one reason or another. So I was kind of getting like into knowing some of our local FGC folks a little bit more, and during that downtime we spent a lot of our like practice time and stuff like that looking for venues while also hanging out at places like we have like a little place down here called Mother Russia, which is where we do like a lot of underground training and all that stuff. I got invited to that, and that was pretty cool, especially like the first time that I went there, because there's arcade machines and stuff like that all over the place. It's the coolest thing in the world. Olympia is an amazing FGC. But anyways, going on, because that's like a tangent and all that stuff. Like I said, no editing, so this is coming straight to video. But yeah, at some point we found this little joint right here called the Retro Collection, which was being run by Daniel, P039 at the time. And then pretty much things just started building from there. Once we actually had like a home base and a place where we could regularly practice and stuff like that, it started to like pick things up a little bit. Obviously the first couple months were like a little slow because people didn't even know this place existed. In fact, it's really funny because when new people come here, they're always telling me that they couldn't find the place, they didn't know where it was, they'd be parked right next to it and they still had no idea that it was there. And then, like, you know, eventually through all this stuff, you know, building renovations and stuff like that, I motioned the idea to Chad, who is like our main FGC TO, about like running a day that was dedicated specifically for Tekken on Monday, because we have our weeklies that happen on Wednesday, and then there's Smash on Thursday, and then sometimes we go do other stuff on Friday. There's usually nothing happening on Tuesday, but it seemed like Monday was the best day for everyone else. And then from there, this whole sort of like Iron Fists Olympia thing started to grow pretty organically from there. I did do a lot of like shilling and like trying to promote us and stuff like that, as I was also at the same time training people and also running tournaments for Tekken and stuff like that. I basically took over the Tekken TO job, so that way Chad would have less on his plate, because he was already TOing like Guilty Gear and Blaze Blue and Dragon Ball and Street Fighter, all blah 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 blah, all that other stuff, right? So I was like, look, y'all have done me a service by allowing me to be part of this community with you and, you know, take beatings from me in Tekken so I can give you advice and stuff like that, and really like start to grow people into like really strong, competent Tekken players. Of course, when I first started doing this, I had no idea whatsoever this was going to work out. I was like, man, I'm going to start running these events, no one's going to show up, there's not going to be like any streams or anything like that, and then it's just going to end up just being me and like 1 or 2 other people practicing, and it's going to be a huge, huge monumental failure, and no one's going to want to be involved with it whatsoever. But luckily for me, again, and my low self-confidence, that was indeed not the case. Especially because I think that because I was so open and willing to teach people the game instead of just like beat on them and like laugh at them or like not give them advice or anything like that. And of course I have like a teaching style that's a little bit less focused on, you know, all the bloat and all the nonsense, and I try to focus more on fundamental skills first. But, you know, that's another tangent for another time. Anyways, like I was saying, for like the 4th time, I want you all to check how many times I say "like I was saying" in this video, which is probably going to end up being a little longer than I expected. But basically from that point on, I started bringing up like the Iron Fists Olympia group. I added like the IFO tag and stuff like that. And I started making these events that happened originally it was every 2 weeks. So we would meet up here on Mondays every 2 weeks because we had like a much smaller scene back then. It was usually only like, 6 or 7 people. And nowadays it's kind of started to grow a little bit more. There's like a lot of new faces. There's a lot of new people who are learning how to play the game. There's new people coming here to our Mondays. We get visitors from Portland and Seattle, so, seriously, shout outs to Seattle Tekken, shout outs to Portland Tekken. They've really done, I feel like them coming here and visiting, like, our little Iron Fists Olympia group here and, like, playing with us and checking out our tournaments and stuff like that has done wonders, like absolute complete wonders for growing the scene here and getting people motivated, getting them want to play. We started building up like sort of these organic rivalries between some of the other like groups and stuff like that. And I remember the first day that we went to a Portland tournament and they said they're not Seattle, they're Olympia. And to me, that was like really important because it's not like a thing that I'm like trying to shade Seattle, obviously, because if you heard, I've been like, propping them up all day and all night on this video here. But to me, it was really important to establish Olympia as like an independent scene, you know what I mean? It's not Seattle. It's not even in Seattle. And it's like about an hour and a half away from Seattle. So at a certain point, you kind of have to be like, this is not Seattle Tekken, this is Olympia Tekken, or Lacey Tekken, Tumwater Tekken, whatever you want to call it. The point is that it is its own thing. It is like very much like a condensed sort of group that exists here. And some might say that our motivations are a little bit different. I guess that's really more up to other individuals' interpretation and stuff like that. But the important thing to me was that it showed that this work that I had done to build this community had been paying off. It had been like, the players had been getting better, we'd be getting more notoriety. I even remember some people talking about like Olympia when I was at NorCal Strong Style last year at 2019. And it's just like really cool to be like very intricately involved with Tekken and like the FGC in this way. And, having the responsibility of running an entire scene of players is like a lot. And there's definitely been some times where I've been like, this is too much work for me. I need a break. I need to stop doing this. But, time and time again, I decided to just hold it down, keep the shit going. And I feel like it started to reward not just me, but all the other people who are playing here. Because these people have had like a passing interest in Tekken, and they wanted to learn it, but they just didn't have the direction that they needed to start learning the game. They were like in this weird little like vague point where they're not really sure what to improve on. And I feel like in many ways I was able to help address that, and even to this day I still try to help address things like that. And especially with like the newer players that we're starting to get, teaching and growing the game has been a lot of fun for me. It's been really cool having like my own scene in this way because like, it's cool, A lot of people don't really have the privilege of having local players to play with or having a local scene that they can build or anything like that. And that's not even to say that I have necessarily a privilege, because I did have to work really hard to start growing the Tekken scene around here. I just started teaching people the game, which honestly, teaching people the game forced me to fundamentally rethink my entire approach to the game, and I feel like that also helped me improve a lot as a player. So I really value these sorts of things. But yeah, that's just like, I guess, a little history lesson on Iron Fists Olympia and how we went from like nothing to like a thing. Like people consider us like a region, like especially because we're like right between Seattle and Portland. So it's like, it's cool. But anyways, so 2020, we're here now. We're still going strong with the Monday Night Tekkens. We started doing them every week now. We implemented the 1st to 5, 1st to 10 death matches that happen every Monday now. And it seems like people really enjoy it. It seems like our players are getting better, they're improving, and they're figuring out where to improve from these 1st to 10s. They're improving their like stamina and like lasting ability in longer sets while also improving their adaptation. And it seems like people enjoy watching it on the streams as well, because the Glitters Gold Gaming stream has been like popping like way more often than usual whenever we do our Monday streams. I remember when we first started doing the streams, we'd probably get like maybe 2 or 3 viewers at most, and now we're pretty much hitting like 10 to 15 numbers on the regular. And that might not seem like a lot, but when you've been streaming for a long time and you're not getting any numbers whatsoever, or your numbers are really low, and then you start to notice that you hit the double digits, it feels really validating. It feels like you're working on something that people are interested in now. You know what I mean? And it's like, you know, upping the production values on the stream, getting like a routine going. I've been learning commentary and stuff like that, so I can commentate the matches that happen here, so that way people aren't only looking at just raw gameplay, although they do get to have that benefit of looking at raw gameplay whenever we're running casuals on stream, because to me, I'm trying to play casuals when we're running casuals, you know what I mean? Because especially now that I commentate alongside also playing, I need to make sure that I'm able to sit here and commentate death matches while also being able to practice and play on my own way. And also, like, shout outs to Daniel for also doing commentary, so that way there's someone on the mic at all times whenever there's a death match going on. I can only think of like maybe 1 or 2 death matches that are like mic free. But it's really cool, and it really feels like everyone is getting involved in the scene in their very own way. And for 2020, I really want to keep that momentum going. I want to see more IFO tags. I want to start seeing more IFO players entering tournaments that don't happen in Olympia. I want us to see us like travel through in groups more often. And I really want to see more people come through and visit us and check out our scene and tell us what we need to improve on and stuff like that. We're also, in this 2019 year, going to be 2020 year, bringing back our ranking system, which was like one of the first like early IFO things that I was doing at the time in order to motivate people to play more and to like give people goals to attain. We stopped doing it for a lot of 2019 because it seemed like people were more invested in the act of actually practicing and leveling up, which is good because that basically justifies why the rank system existed in the first place, right? Is because I wanted people to practice more. I wanted them to be motivated to play. I wanted them to sort of form these rivalries where they're trying to one-up each other and keep on leveling up and improving and getting better and stuff like that. And I feel like we managed to accomplish that in many sort of ways. And now that everyone is starting to get pretty reasonably competitive with each other, I feel like it's now a good time to bring it back and to make it sort of be like something that you, the audience, can also follow and keep an eye out on us as players and like how we're tracking everything and how people are growing, you know, stuff like that. Because I feel like power rankings, especially in like local scenes, can be a very interesting way to get people to practice the game more and to level up, right? So I think we're gonna see how that goes. I think I want to try doing more, I don't want to say personal streams, but I guess they are like more personal streams where it's just like me and another player sitting down, running sets, or playing online or something like that. Just like so there's more stuff on the YouTube channel, and so there's more stuff on the Twitch stream that can be like a little bit more interesting. So that way we can have like the Monday Night Tekken, like regular meetups, while also having these other occasional things that we do on the side, right? Maybe even implementing like some sort of like Excellent Adventures style thing, where it's just like two or three people take turns online, swapping controllers, swapping characters, going through the ranks and all that stuff. But I don't know. We'll see if anything interesting comes out from that. Let's see, what else is there? Oh yeah, I think I also want to start uploading and hosting like tutorial videos and like advice columns and stuff like that on this channel. I think you saw like a little sample of it when I uploaded the, I think I called it Gamer Therapy with Olympia Streets and Queen Charlene, which was right after, I think I had lost a deathmatch against Marcus Zucchini. I'm pretty sure I lost against him, and I was like really, really frustrated. I was like so annoyed in a way that I usually am not. So while we were there watching casuals, Ryan was sitting there basically giving me like a talking session, and like giving me reasons to be motivated to keep playing, and why I shouldn't just like give up and like, I don't know, resort to just being a commentator for the rest of my Tekken career and just being like a casual player and stuff like that. And I know several people have like seen me in those moods. They don't happen often, but when they do, I definitely feel them. But you know, it's one of those things that I feel like is, not only does it give more perspective to the players that we have here, but it's also just like good stuff that any player could use. It doesn't matter if you're an IFO, it doesn't matter if you play casually, it doesn't matter if you're a tournament player. I feel like it's just stuff that is just refreshing to hear, refreshing to see, and it also keeps the variety pretty high, so that way it's not just constantly only matches on the channel. But who knows, maybe I won't do any of that stuff and it will just be matches on the channel. I guess it really mostly depends on like what y'all want to see. So, you know, if you ever catch me at like a tournament, or if you just want to like hit up my DMs on Twitter, or if I'm streaming and you want to like tell us something that we could be doing better, you should definitely let us know, and especially let me know, because keeping the momentum going forward is something that I really want to emphasize for 2020. I think that Iron Fists Olympia and the Olympia FGC in general can make some really big moves this year and be considered like at the same level, if not maybe even above the level of the other regions that we're near. Because I want us to be the best. I think we have the potential to be the best, but we're not there yet. And in order to get there, we have to keep on grinding, we have to keep leveling up, we have to keep motivating each other, and we also have to keep exposing ourselves, because in order to like get people to recognize us and our area, we need to be more willing and able to be like, yeah, I'm from Olympia, I rep IFO, I rep Iron Fists Olympia, we train all the time, we love practicing, we love this game, and we love playing with people. So, in summary, I guess you could say, of this whole video, it's been a very, very exciting 2019 for Olympia, and especially Iron Fist Olympia. Tekken has become our biggest game in like the entire FGC. Every time we do a monthly, Tekken is always the one that has the most entrants. It's the one that has the people that are coming down to like see us and play with us and like hang with us in bracket and stuff like that, play with us in casuals. And I feel like like I was saying before, it feels like my work in growing the scene is starting to bear fruit, and I want to cultivate this tree and keep it bearing fruit and growing bigger, juicier, tastier fruit, so that we can like, you know, so we can have like this like sort of pride point in the stuff that we've been doing with our scene, the leveling up that we've been doing ourselves and together, and you know, it just really feels like now's a good time for us to keep growing. So, as like the TO of Iron Fists Olympia, the commentator, the resident Brian player, and all that stuff, I am really looking forward to growing this scene more and doing more streams and playing more, going to more tournaments and repping IFO there. You know, all that good stuff that comes with running a scene and being part of a scene and having like this sort of pride in your scene and yourself as a player. So yeah, that was a little longer than I expected it to be, but you know, I feel like I talked about most of the things that I wanted to talk about in this video, and give y'all like a little bit of insight towards our scene in general. And who knows, maybe this video will do something cool. It'll bring more people to watch our streams. It'll bring more people to hang out with us here in Olympia. Maybe it'll just do like all these things. I don't know. I'm just kind of throwing it out there in the wild and seeing what y'all think. So yeah, definitely let me know what you think. Thank you all for watching the streams. Thank you for checking out the YouTube. Thank you for supporting us. We really, really appreciate it. Again, shout outs to Seattle Tekken for helping grow me into the type of player who can actually train other people. Shout outs to Portland Tekken for always holding it down, always inviting us, welcoming us with open arms. They make us feel like we're like celebrities or something, you know? They really do a good job of like making us feel really welcome in their scene, and we try to do the same thing for them when they come to us. So, you know, Portland boys, if you want to come and hang out with us on Mondays, you should definitely do it. because we love having you here, and, you know, I like to think that maybe playing with us is helping y'all level up a little bit as well. Hopefully it'll be like a nice symbiotic relationship between us and these other scenes in the Northwest. But I really just want to keep the momentum going. So here's to 2020. Thank you all for supporting us, and we hope to keep doing you well in the new year. Thank you.